So, my dear Virgo, the sun has moved into Cancer, and Cancer is giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And in this combination, we recognize true love is worth to be brought into your life so that you can feel this completion. 9 and 7, of course, creates the 16, and in the 16 lies the Tower, lies Mars, because Mars in the Tarot is the Tower. Things must go and go with love, and the 7 is left. The 9 always gives itself up. So the 9 has the tendency, or the Hermit or the Virgo has a tendency to give herself up for others. But what she gets is love. And a higher love, which I call an emotional intelligence, an emotional success. And here in Dali's Tarot, we see Luca Pacioli. He is like a genius, and as such, I'm inspired as well to use the numbers, because the 9 is the completion, the 7 is the crown chakra, and then when we get combination like the 16, we have the Wheel of Fortune in there, right? The 10. Some say it's the 1, the Magician, but you can see it the way you want, right? For me, it's a 10 because it's 16, and the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, and that's Jupiter. Become grand in the way you live your love. And then the 6 appears in the 16, right? And the 6 is the self-love, is the lovers, is their Gemini, and Gemini is connected with you through Mercury. So you're ruled by Mercury, and Mercury in the Tarot is, of course, the Magician. So we're going to look at the Magician, and the Cancer is ruled by the Moon, but the Moon is right now in your sign. So you're going to feel very clearly very emotional energy from Cancer, and so the light from Cancer that is giving the Moon in your sign right now, the light helps you to look deep into your subconscious. Et voila. You have here just a story by itself that I could go deeper and deeper into, right? So this moment exists only once a year, and as such, it is important for you to recognize that. I do the reading exactly on the day the Moon is in your sign, so I get your energy. And if we include all the other planets, then this moment really exists only once in your life. You are the mountain pose, and as such, you recognize the past and the future here in the cosmic egg, and you understand very clearly what the yoga poses asks from you to be steadfast. You are holding the Earth's energy as a Virgo, and Cancer is Ashwasanchalan Asana, and in that we use our body as the chariot, as the car, as that vehicle of transportation towards the center, towards the spine. Cancer's body part is the lung, and your body part is the digestion. And that's where this fire comes, right? The digestion to actually accept the fire, the Agni from the earth, so from the mountain, from the lava into the first chakra, into that I digest not only food, but I digest also emotions. You are the Knight of Coins here in Dali Tarot. You look like this. You have a white horse. Is your birthday between August 13 and September 11? Then is this your court card? If your birthday is before, then you might be the King of Wands. If your birthday is after, you might be rather the Queen of Swords, right? I have listed all the details down there, and you see that he goes to the left. The reading goes to the left because you're going to your new moon, which you have in your second next reading, and to the left, intuitive, to the right, logical. And when you see someone going to the left, as an outer perspective, you see he goes to the left. But if I become the card and I look down at the card, I see he goes to the right. So it's always inhale, exhale, it's always cyclical, right? But still, as a perspective, I see he goes to the left. So it's almost like this logical action is like, I need to go deep within to understand who I really am, so that I then, as that inner knowledge, I can go out, because then I become it when I bring it out into the world. So Virgo is the alchemist, and as an alchemist you can transform things. You are the sixth zodiac sign, and as such you're connected with the sixth house of work and routine. You see here the moon phases, and you love to work, but it has to be something that you love to do and has to bring you money, right? Very important for you that money is something that you want as an exchange, and as such you love then to work. Good. Back to the last reading. We had their Gemini Sun giving the Virgo Moon the light. Courage to create your own happiness is the star's message. And I like to include the last reading because everything is cyclical. It's important that we see, right, the pictures of the cards, and sometimes I see that something was predicted to the future, or now something is reconnecting to the past, but everything is now. Just remember that. The Chariot in Dali's Tarot looks like this. It's quite a dark card, somber, and you see here, of course, he's the one that handles the Holy Grail, and the emotional success here is with the water element. And here we see quite a mystical connection through Dali, that we understand more and more that emotions can be quite difficult to handle. And to handle it is when we see the Chariot, right? Chart your own course. The Chariot stands for experiencing and developing one's own personality, which has two aspects: deliberate choice on the one hand and the forces of the unconscious on the other. The great central figure has its back to the viewer. One should always consider one's other side and explore one's true face and profile, which is the character, right? And so we see him from behind, and when we look at it from the outside, right, you see him from the back. But now when you become the card, it's kind of like what he has done is behind you. It's finished. And so just that you see the differences here in Aleister Crowley, Thoth Tarot, and here Salvador Dali, who was very much inspired by the Thoth Tarot, right? He used the Thoth Tarot to learn and then make his own deck, and I find that always very fascinating. Good. So we begin. We begin with you as a court card, because as a court card, you are experiencing this world through the Knight of Pentacles. And so here you get the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is connected with the constellation Saturn in Libra. Now Saturn in the tarot is the world, is the number 21. It's the end, right? It's the last card of the major arcanas. And so the world is for you right now in a very difficult state. Then Libra, there's no justice. It's almost like you're seeing no justice. You're seeing only brutality. You're seeing only negativity. And yes, the world is like that. But remember, there is also a world where there's an emotional intelligence, where there are people who hold the Holy Grail, and sometimes we just need to reawaken our senses. So the 6 and the 3 is the 9. So you coming up here as a hermit, you are called to be strong from within. And the Hermit in Salvador Dali's tarot, it's really the figure, like I said, Luca Pacioli, right? But healing is the main word. The Hermit's lantern reminds us of the biblical parable of the wise and the foolish maidens. Wise maidens are on the alert and keep their light at hand. Dali used the painting of Luca Pacioli to portray the hermit. Pacioli was a scholar of the Renaissance, a mathematical genius, and the inventor of duplicate bookkeeping, whose actual life shows some parallels to the symbolic meaning of the hermit. Every human being brings something new into the world, something that has not been before and would not be if not for him. The emperor in the lantern, the homunculus, represents this unique contribution. Above the head of the figure we see jewels, some of them in the shape of an egg. The egg is a symbol of fertility and of the growth of something new. If this new thing, our unique contribution, is missing from our life, we feel lost. Once you have found and understood it, we know that we can truly rely on ourselves. The hermit represents a person who solves his problems at the appropriate time and goes about his life without sweeping anything under the carpet or leaving anybody in the dark. Ay, 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 right? So, recognize the challenge and step up. You have a white horse, which is the purity. You have a red flag. You have lots of ideas popping. And so recognize the 9 that is coming here. Now, of course, this card, this energy that is coming through you is now tainting all the other stations, and we begin with the magician, right? And the magician, like we know, is Mercury. And Salvador Dali created himself as the magician, and we get the time master. The time master is the number 57. We get the 5, which is the high priest, which is Taurus, also an earth sign, and we get the 7, which is, of course, Cancer, the Chariot. And so the 5 senses hold us prisoner in the time frame, right? Because the 5 senses are due to their energy. They understand the outer world as such as it's a time-based energy. But when we go then into the 7, into the emotional intelligence, into the crown chakra, we recognize that we have all of a sudden a liberty, a freedom, that we don't have in the 5. And so the Magician, the 1 and the 7 creates then the 8. The 8 is the strength, but also the symbol for infinity. And it's the infinite loop of time that is challenging us, and sometimes we kind of go crazy. And the 3 of Swords as that understanding that you are seeing things quite in a very difficult way is saying, observe, watch, what here the time master is wanting to tell you, because here we get a 12 when we calculate together, and that's the Hangman. And the Hangman is Neptune, and Neptune is ruling right now quite strongly our lives, and Neptune dissolves borders. 12, then calculate together, we get the 3, the Empress, and the Empress is Venus in the Tarot, and Venus is love and understanding, also the feminine principle of giving birth to new ideas, but there's also money involved with Venus. And so, of course, when I add the 1 of the Magician, we get a 13, and the 13 is the next step of the Hangman, which is Scorpio, which is transformation or death. And death is always something that creates deep within us an uproar, or something that just makes us realize that time exists. And the 3 in here of the 3 of Swords and the 13 of the Scorpio death card is new things want to come. And then the 4 is left. But I wanted to see what is coming here as an explanation, as a clarification from the Mother Peace Tarot. And we get the Priestess of Wands to the left. And the Priestess of Wands to the left is facing down. So she's Aries, the first zodiac sign. So there's a 1 and a 1 with the Magician, an 11. The 11 is a portal on the level of I understand my inner wisdom, and in that inner wisdom I can act and do what I need to be doing. But since it's reverse, she's literally here with a lion, creating clouds so that it rains, so that her tribe is surviving. So it's facing down slightly to the left. There is something blocking you because you're stuck in the time master's loop, right? But the 1 of the Magician and the 1 here of Aries might get you out, because then we get the 14, everything calculates together, and the 5 comes back, the 5 senses. It's those 5 senses that create in us such an understanding of my body has 5 windows, and through those 5 windows I recognize who I become. Then I wanted to see what your deck is saying, Dalis, and here comes the Hierophant, the 5. And so when we calculate these 3 together, then we get a 5-5 portal. 2 times 5 is become creative in the way you recognize the 5 senses, and notice that sometimes taking action is all it's needed to make one step after the other, and you can get yourself out of maybe a situation that seems helpless, hopeless, all of that emotions that we don't want to face. But there is a way by accessing the spiritual information every priest, every rabbi, every guru brought to us, because they have walked the path. They have overcome the 5 senses in the 5 here as the Hierophant. And use that understanding, use a creative way of now using the information that is at hand here. 2 times 5, right? The 55. and observe which spiritual teacher is appealing to you the most and learn from that. Then we look at the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is bringing you the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is letting you know that this is Saturn in Leo. Saturn in Libra, Saturn in Leo. So if you have this frozen energy, then action is the only way to get you out. And the 5 and the 2 of the High Priestess is the 7, and the 7 is again the Chariot. The emotional intelligence to bring yourself out, to test yourself, right? This is what the 5 of Wands talks about, is the Lord of Strife. And she's the intuition, she's the moon. And in your intuition, you know that sometimes we get tested here in this dimension. And so the 7 is then the result, is then the emotional intelligence that you then learn out of that. What comes as an explanation from the Mother Peace Tarot is death. Letting go of something that doesn't work, because this is reverse. Death as the Scorpio, death as maybe a transformation, maybe a real death. And the 3 is in here, the 3 of Swords, and the 3 of the 13 is the Empress. Let go so that something new can come. And so the 13 and the 5 is actually then an 18, and the 18 is the subconscious, is the moon, plus the 2 is the 20, and the 20 is Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio. Pluto is going into Aquarius in the end of November for 20 years. And so there comes a 20-year cycle that might actually challenge you. And so observe, watch, right? This is just a message that is bringing you a deeper understanding of how these planets influence us. Now, here the moon is connected with Cancer, and here we get Gemini, the lovers. So the holy marriage with yourself is coming in the end to you. And so the 5 and the 13, the 18 and the 6 is the 24. The 24 plus the 2 is the 26. The 8 appears at the end. The 8, the strength that you gain by letting go. You find who you really are, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury with the Magician. And the Magician brought you here the Time Master. The Magician brought you Aries, but reverse. And so here are 2 reverse explanation that something is not flowing, something is not happening. And of course also Taurus, right, are the banks, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, and remember Venus is love. And so here comes love. A real love, a real union deep within you, because the Hermit is marrying them. Because the 6, when we turn it around, is a 9, or the 9, we turn it around, is a 6. So the 8 is left here, and the 8 says, accept what's talking, accept what's coming, because life brings us challenges, and through the challenges we grow. Then comes the moon, and the moon is bringing you the Wailing Tree. Reconciliation, the number 59. And so the 59 is letting you know that you understand more and more that the 5 senses need to be conquered by the way you come from deep within and clear whatever needs to be cleared. Calculated together, we get here the 14, which is Temperance, which is connected with Sagittarius. And so just let go, cry, and allow to release pain that maybe has been inflicted, maybe in the world is there. Let it go. And the 5 is left. And so the 18 as well is a 9. And so the 9 and the 5, the 14, and again the 5 is left here. The 5 senses. The 5 senses are here to challenge you. And the 5 senses are here to test you. The 5 of Wands, right? Then I wanted to see what brings you the Mother Peace Tarot, and you get the 10 of Wands, slightly facing upward to the left. Now you have 5 wands, and 10 wands is 15 wands, and the 15 is connected in the tarot to the Capricorn energy, and Capricorn is the devil, is being attached to doing so much that you actually almost, you know, kill yourself. And it's like, it's a slow death, because when it's reversed, it's a slow death. It's almost like you destroying yourself. And here the 10 of Wands is a very beautiful card. The women are dancing all night and come into a trance. And it's work, but dancing liberates. So work should be liberating. Action-oriented doing should be liberating and not binding you, right? Not cutting you off from source, but actually bringing you towards source, or binding you to certain things. You should always find the liberation in here. And so the 5 and the 10 again is the 15. Then I wanted to see what your deck is bringing, because the moon is in your sign, and we get again the 5 of Wands. But here in Dali's Tarot, I'm going to put this down for a moment so I can hold this. But in Dali's Tarot, the 5 of Wands looks completely different. So you have 20 Wands. And 20 Wands was the 20 that we got through the High Priestess. The understanding that 20 years Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, and we're going to feel that. Here it's like a Mikado. It's like sticks that we need to figure out which one of those we're going to take out and the other ones don't move. So the 5-5 portal plus the 5 of the High Priest is letting you know that the 5 is the 5 senses, and of course it's also the High Priest, the Taurus energy, the banks and the money and the institutions. And sometimes we feel stuck in those institutions. And you see that the 10 of Wands, the trance dance here, is facing the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands is, remember, the Saturn in Leo. And Leo is having fun. It's the 5th zodiac sign. Leo is saying go and have fun, enjoy yourself, love yourself, right? So the 10 of Wands is connected with the constellation Saturn in Sagittarius. So you had Saturn in Libra, Saturn in Leo, Saturn in Sagittarius. So the world brings you all these different perspectives and how you can make a solution out of it. Because I like the Mother Peace Tarot. They immediately to a problem show you actually the solution. So maybe you need to do a trance dance to get rid of 20 wands. It's a lot. It's like the Last Judgment. It's like Pluto is talking and saying, maybe you do too much, don't do so much, because the tree is wailing, the tree is sad. And remember the 5, the 5, the 5, the 5, 4 times 5, right? And so see that, of course, the 15 and the 5 is the 20. The 20 is left, and the 20 is, of course, the High Priestess. And the High Priestess in a way brought you love. Love yourself. Love, 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 right? And of course, love also what's happening out there. The world is brutal, the world is not fair, but some things are just part of duality. And so learn that. Learn that, because the moon, the subconscious, is telling you you can find a solution to this in letting go and giving up and using the higher force to guide you, to let you know how you are going to go and take this path and work with this sadness. Then comes the sun, and the sun is bringing you here through pressure. Diamonds are made. Using all this inner knowledge, because we're going to the left, we're going deep within. She's using the pressure to go outwards. But remember, when I place it here, it's just going to the left. Yeah? And so the 19 turns into a 10, and here we have the 26, it's an 8. The 10 and the 8 is the moon, is the subconscious. In your subconscious, you know that you need to free yourself, that you need to liberate yourself. Because the 20 is in here again. Pluto is playing a part. Pluto came here through Scorpio, through a slow death, because a slow death means that Pluto is having a grip on you. And Pluto, again, remember, is going to be 20 years in Aquarius, and that's the new technology, that's the new age. And so we see here an 8, and the 19 is a 10, so the 18, right, the subconscious, then the 18 turns into a 9. But I can also then calculate here the 26 plus the 10 is actually then 36, and the 36, there is the 3 again of the Empress, and the 6 of the self-love, and the 36 then is the 9. So the 9 comes no matter what. What is bringing you the Mother Peace Tarot? The Hangman. And the Hangman is literally saying, let go. You see this? We see the close up here. What's happening really here? When we hang upside down, she's really like, okay, I get it. Puff, right? And the Hangman is the pre-stage to the Scorpio. So this is Neptune and this is Pluto. Understand here the pressure. When we hang upside down, it feels like pressure. All the blood is going into the head. But that pressure is needed to break free. Break free and allow to awaken. Right? And so the 12 is the 3. Here the 26 is an 8, the 8, and the 3 is the 11. Again, you find the inner teachings. The inner teachings, the 11 and the 10, 3 times the 1. What is bringing Cancer is the Queen of Pentacles. Now this is Capricorn. She is the 10th zodiac sign, and so there is a 10, 10, 11, 4 times the 1. And we had the 11 before, and so 6 times the 1. And you had Aries, reverse, right? The first zodiac sign. And now you have here Capricorn, and Capricorn is the career. So if you want to grow in your career, you gotta first of all let go of this. Let go, because the sun is saying bring love into your life, right? The sun is saying bring a new perspective through the Hangman into your life and see that this is normal. This is part of life. This is part of duality and learning what there is to learn. And you change for yourself. Higher consciousness, 4 times 1 here just in this group, is the heart. Have the heart to be the one and only. Have the heart to know that you can make a change in this world. You don't need to accept this. It's you just see from a higher perspective, from up here, right? The three is always the duality and the one, the triangle, right? It's that powerful triangle that we have between the eye up to the third eye, like this. And you need to work from here. And this is what Gemini is saying, the sixth chakra. You need to work from here so that you can overcome anything, go through pressure, and still be okay. Even though the world is terrible, you can still be okay. And then you can continue doing the work, because now the circle closes. If I put her here, she looks at the 3, the 10 and the 3 is the 13, is the transformation. There's constantly death and transformation happening in the world, because that's what duality does. I inhale and I exhale. I don't think, oh my God, if I exhale, I'm gonna die. No, I inhale and I exhale. I don't think even about it. But that's what it is. That creates one round and then begins the next round. And in that we move on, we move forward, and we come to the Time Master. And then the Time Master is seeing her and she is seeing him. And they are kind of like, okay, yeah, the 12, the 3, the 10, again, the 13. The 13 is death. Everything is a slow death. Everything. All the time. Your body, your cells. And the 13 turns into a 4, right? And that 4 is then clear that 4 is the Emperor. That 4 is I take new action. And so understand that the 4 is Aries. Aries came here reverse, and it's something not going right. Something is not clear, right? And so learn that you have to really understand the numbers and the messages and what you learn from it and how you can grow from it, because you're going further within. This is the path within, because it looks like you going without, but when you become it, you go deeper within, and the pressure will be more and more stronger to withstand all the information that your subconscious holds, right? And so the pressure sometimes to release it, just hang upside down. For me, it's like a liberation. When I do inversions, after I'm like, what was my problem? Right? What was it? Why? What? What? Ah, okay. Well, it's life, right? And so really, really understand this, right? The Three of Swords. It's something that is occupying you, but there's a 9 as well, right? You can handle this. With the 6, the love, right? You are the love. Look at you. You are the 6 Zodiac sign. And so here with the 3, you get the 9, the Hermit. Hermit can handle anything. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get the Sun in Leo. We have Saturn in Leo twice. We see. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.